Hello guys, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and as you see today, I am doing, sorry for the glare there, push this back just a bit, but I am doing, yep, you guessed it, Jurassic Park 3. Sorry, silver case and glaring off the light of the computer quite a bit, but I bring you the review today because it's finishing up the Jurassic Park trilogy as I watch the Ultimate trilogy, and I may do a review on that as well. I also put a review up on snappow.com where I'm also doing editorial reviews, movie reviews, video games, up and coming stuff that's showing itself, and I must say that if you want to take a look at anything I've done on SnapPow, please do. We appreciate it. It's a new site, and my friend's really excited about it, and we want to keep getting new viewers. And hey, I mean, if you're a movie nerd like me, or very passionate about this stuff like any of us, you know, take a look at the site on snappow.com. But anyway, enough of the mentioning of snappow.com. You know, please look at it. And basically the starting of Jurassic Park 3, but also wanted to mention as a quick preview, I may give you a quick insight on Jurassic Park the Ultimate Trilogy. I mean, you know, it'll have all three films, and you know, I'll probably tell you about that a little bit coming on, but I'll still do my regular movie reviews. And for anyone who knows, Jurassic Park 3, once again, the third installment of the series, oddly enough, you know, to me, I know a lot of people, once again, like I mentioned last time, said The Lost World Jurassic Park is the weakest in the trilogy, but I personally think this one is, because as much as I did get entertained by Jurassic Park 3, it really is, to me, the weakest in the series, because the story really was just, it seemed sloppy and thrown together, and the fact that Steven Spielberg had a hand in it, just like, oh, Steven, you know, really? And there's a few other things, and then, you know, some of the characterization was not really that good, and it's just like, I don't know, the whole thing just seemed thrown together and was a bit of a mistake. Plus, I know a lot of people, like I said The Lost World Jurassic Park was too long at 2 hours and 10 minutes. I disagree. I thought the length was fine. My disagreement with this one, really quick, is that the length is way too short. At an hour, and let's see, it says on here, I know it does, yeah, an hour and 33 minutes. It's just like, really? A Jurassic Park film in an hour and 33 minutes? You know, it's just like, whatever. So it was way too fast-paced for me. But either way, on to what I like to do with the reviews, is give you who stars in it. We have Sam Neill returning as Dr. Alan Grant, and I have to say that was one of the best things with this movie, was having Sam Neill return as Dr. Alan Grant to replay the role and redo the character. He actually said in Jurassic Park the Ultimate Trilogy in a newer review that he was happy to come back and happy to be a part of it. Was disappointed he wasn't part of the Lost World, but he was happy to come back in 3 and just to reprise the role. And really, no one can really be Alan Grant at this point unless, I believe, you have Sam Neill in the process. Sorry. Now you have also William H. Macy, who plays Paul Kirby, who is the father in this movie looking for his son. Once again, spoilers. How this happens is the Kirbys are a family whose son goes hang gliding with a friend, and they're near Isla Sorna, which is a restricted area made by the Costa Rican government. And as you know, they ignore the signs. Something happens to their son, Eric Kirby, while he's hang gliding with a friend, and you know, they end up getting marooned on the island, and you know, all that stuff ensues. And Paul Kirby is a man who tries to, you know, go help and try to find his son. And what he does throughout the film is he poses as this rich guy who, has a lot of money, and he claims that the Costa Rican government has given him, authority to fly over Isla Sorna, so they could just tour the island and look at the dinosaurs while in the air. But the thing is, he wants to, get him up to find his son, so he tries to round up Alan Grant, and then these three other mercenaries, and just have him and his wife try to find their son. And it turns out, like I said, he's not rich. He's just sort of a bumbling father who owns a paint and tile store, and he, I guess, imagined these fake millions to write on a check for Alan Grant. So Alan Grant and even the, well, I should say the one remaining mercenary guy, which I will get to, named Udesky, who really isn't a mercenary, he's a booking agent, are a little upset because they, won't be getting paid for their efforts. So, yeah, you gotta think so. But, William H. Macy plays a good Paul Kirby, the confused father, the bumbling character, the guy who doesn't know much going on other than to protect his family. He plays that role really well. He's another enjoyable thing in this movie, and I have to say, William H. Macy plays Paul Kirby to fullest extent, which is just, to me, very, very cool. And then you have Téa Leoni. I've got nothing against Téa Leoni. I think she's an alright actress. I think she can be pretty good in certain roles. This role, yeah, not so much for me. Téa Leoni plays Amanda Kirby, Paul Kirby's wife, who is very desperate to find her son. And she, I guess, divorced Paul Kirby over a year ago, from what they learned, marital family troubles, and the friend that Eric went hang gliding with, Ben Hildebrand, was her boyfriend at the time, and he gets lost with Eric, and turns out Ben, once again, spoilers, Ben, they find out Ben died at some point, and end up paying the price for it, and Eric is more frantic when Ben dies, and Téa Leoni just plays this, I want to be a protector sort of person, but it doesn't come off well. She just comes off as the typical screaming female role in any type of a thriller, adventure, slash horror picture, and it just really comes off as annoying. And I know Téa Leoni can be a great actress and things like that, and she does an okay Amanda Kirby, but I can't stand just the whining and the screaming she does in this movie. And her character is sort of, blah. I mean, to me, it would have been better if it just had Paul Kirby in it, but that's just me, Having a full family, I guess, would make sense for the story they were going for, but at the same time, it's like Téa Leoni really served no purpose, at least to me, in this movie. Then you have Alessandro Nivola, who plays Billy Brannon, who is a partner for Dr. Alan Grant on their dig site, and he goes along with Alan to tour Isla Sorna because Alan Grant didn't want to be alone with the Kirbys, and when they crash and get stuck on the island, you have, Billy being another person who's strong and willful to help Alan Grant get them through the island. And, all seems well and good, and, Billy's intelligent, but at some point, because Billy wants to fund the dig site for Alan Grant because of Paul Kirby's, money and millions being BS, he actually, as a plot point for the film, steals raptor eggs, and, he's carrying them around, and that's what gets the raptors after him in this film. And, Billy, said he took them out of a horror decision because, they would have made a lot of money, and, he said it was a stupid decision, but he made it with the best intentions. Alan says some of the worst things imaginable, are made with the worst intentions, and, or no, best intentions, and, they get into their little row, and, Billy also becomes a bit of a hero for Eric Kirby when they go into the pterodon pit, and or cage, and Billy's just sort of the sort of tough, good-looking guy on screen, and I have to say Alessandro Nivola played the role pretty well. I mean, and once again, another alright, enjoyable character. And then you have, as it seems to be throughout all the Jurassic Park films, you have the child character played by Trevor Morgan, who plays Eric Kirby, who, was an alright, choice. Because Trevor Morgan, I personally like Trevor Morgan from The Patriot. He played, one of Benjamin Martin's son in The Patriot. I think he played, I'm not sure. I think it was Nathan, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to relook that up. But, Trevor Morgan was also in The Patriot, and I liked him a lot better in that movie. And Trevor Morgan, just plays the kid Eric Kirby, who has enjoyed, hanging out with Ben Hildebrand when they're trying to look at the dinosaurs. When Eric Kirby crashes, he becomes a survivalist, actually survives on the island for 8 weeks, so he's taken charge himself. He's more, he's like, he's sort of like a combination of Lex and Tim. He's fearful, but yet he also loves things about dinosaurs and what they're about, and he actually respects and likes Alan Grant, and he's more of a character who is a combiner, and you could also say a kid who has survived on this island for 8 weeks, because I was even shocked in this film that, this single kid found a way to survive. But I guess, once again, in impossible situations, you have to, otherwise, you just lay down and die. So, Trevor Morgan, did an alright Eric Kirby, and you could see how, and, well, no, I guess when he comes along, you can't see how bad their family stuff was, but you get a little inkling for what it was like for them. And then, lastly but not least, another reason I like this movie a lot, you have Michael Jeter, who plays Udesky, who is a mercenary slash booking agent, and also pilot, flying them to the island. When they crash land, because he was trying to help his team take out, or try to take out dinosaurs and also help them find, Eric Kirby, but when the Spinosaur attacks them in this movie, they get marooned on the island, and he's with them, and he, goes from sort of being mercenary to guy who's a little fearful of the island, who just wants to survive. And, he's really an alright character, and he came with 2 other mercenaries, Nash and Cooper, which Nash and Cooper are played by Bruce A. Young and John Deal. And, he comes along with them. Both Nash and Cooper are killed very, very early in the film, which, personally, once again, I think was a big mistake. Those characters could have been worth having on later on, and once again, also, granted, I knew they probably would have ended up dying anyway. It usually happens for characters like this in the film, but it would have been nice to just see them, live a while longer. And, Udesky has a pretty good role in the film. Once again, Michael Jeter plays, sort of this scared mercenary to a T. He's very good at it, and goes through a lot of crap, gets injured, I think, more than anyone else in the film, unless you count Billy, who, once again, spoiler, gets attacked by a lot of the Pterodons in the Pterodon Dome before he somehow miraculously survives at the end without any meaning or cause to know how he survived. But once again, that's just me, a little tip there of how Billy magically survived without any, prior effect to. And Udesky is a favorite character in this film, much like some of the other favorite characters I knew throughout the other 2 films, like wanting Gennaro Muldoon to survive, but they died, and wanting Eddie Carr to survive, but he died. Ajay Sindhu, the second movie, Dr. Robert Burke, the second movie, they all died as well. And Udesky was a character who I really wanted to survive in this film. Sadly, he lives in the film for about 50 minutes, and then he gets killed by the raptors, not in a way that you would expect to be eaten, but once Billy steals the eggs, the raptors are after them to try to find the eggs. So what happens is, as they're running for the raptors, get them, caught in a Dilophosaurus stampede, and when they're running in between the Dilophosaurs, Udesky gets separated from the group, attacked by the raptors, hobbled at the legs, and then stabbed, in the spine, can't walk or run because he's terribly injured, and, they run into the raptors, corner Paul and Amanda Kirby and Billy Brannon, because they're trying to help out Udesky, who they're near, and basically the raptors set a trap for them, and, they almost got caught in it when they realized that, the eggs aren't there. At the time, Dr. Alan Grant had the eggs when Billy lost them in the Dilophosaurus stampede. And when they realize they're not there and they can't get to the others, One of the raptors takes Udesky's head and snaps his neck. An interesting death, but yep, still sucky because Udesky was one of my favorite characters, and yeah, just killing him once again, just, it sucked. But, still, Michael Jeter was another reason why I like this movie, because he played the character of Udesky so well. And I have to say, personally, in the retrospect of the film, it was nice seeing the blending of CGI and, live-action dinosaurs, the animatronics, again, very well. I didn't think much of it at first, because I'll get to another point why this film, to me, is so weird. I didn't think the blending was very well done the first couple times I saw it, but when I saw it again recently, with DVD etiquette this time and stuff like that, and also watching the special features of the Ultimate Trilogy DVD, I discovered that, it actually looks and still is pretty dang good to the first two other films. So the CGI's done pretty well, and the live action stuff is done pretty well too. So I gotta give the team at Stan Winston Studios and everything else props for doing what they did. It was fairly, well, no, not fairly, it was very well done. Very well, not fairly. And, on that note, another issue, going to the characters again really quick that I have with this movie was, the movie was entertaining and keeps it up to the point to where Nash and Cooper get killed, and then, when Udesky bites the dust with the raptors at the end, which once again sucks. It sort of seems like the movie loses its taste and flavor right after Udesky is killed. Like, you sort of end up, sitting there thinking, I really don't care too much about the characters, or the movie's just way too fast-paced, or it's something like that to me, because it just loses its vibe once Udesky dies. Like, there's not much holding it together after Udesky's death. And once again, I saw that rewatching the film, and I'm sitting here saying, that's what sort of sucks about the third one, because when Udesky dies, it's like the film is sort of like, it becomes a little stagnant, a bit pointless. It's like, you have the great pterodon scene in the dome, that's true, and you have the Spinosaurus attack, and, final meet up with the raptors and everything, but it just sort of becomes like blah. After that, it's like you sort of lose interest, and, that really just sucks for an action-adventure film. You don't want that to happen overall, and to me, that's what sort of did happen. And then, number two, another thing that sucked was, in the special features of when they're talking about 3, they mentioned a point that I wanted to know ever since I saw 3, why the dinosaurs were different colors and why they look different. They said they wanted to change up the look so things didn't look the same throughout all films. And I sort of sat here saying, it's cool you did that, but people know what the dinosaurs look like and how realistic they look. It's like you give them these colorful mutation colors, but you don't explain why the brontosauruses are gray and brown, why the stegosauruses have an orange color, why some of the raptors are white looking and then green, and gecko lizard-like looking. I mean, there's no explanation to it. It's just like they said, they just wanted to change the look and sort of have them evolve. And it's like, well, couldn't you have had that explained in the story or stuff like that? Because, like, for an instance, when Billy Brannon and Ellen Grant talk about the Spinosaurus, about, how they were saying this dinosaur wasn't on their list, and Dr. Ellen Grant says, well, it wasn't meant to be, and it made me wonder what else they were up to. That was a good thing to explore in this film. But, once again, it never gets done, and I was just disappointed about how they tease you with something, and then they don't go forward as to why the dinosaurs look different, or how the Spinosaur got on their list, and things like that. But, well, that was once again another disappointment as to why some of the dinosaurs looked the way they did. And, once again, the overall length of the film was just disappointing. I mean, even if it was an hour and 45, or, an hour and 50 minutes, or, maybe right at 2 hours, I would have accepted it, because to me, an hour and a half is just way too short for a Jurassic Park film, not for the films when you're growing up. Because once again, the first film was 2 hours and 5 minutes. The second film was 2 hours and 10. We got introductions to, we got good introductions to all the characters in those two movies. We got good action bits. We got, pretty good story. But, it's like, in the third film, it's just like rush all over the place. And I really don't like it. And I have to say, it was disappointing to me. So, yeah, you know, and I mean, you have a decent score in this movie by Don Davis, and, you know, original theme still done by John Williams, which is cool, but new score by Don Davis, which is pretty good, not the greatest, and I'd rather have John Williams doing the overall score, but they went to a new one. Don Davis is a composer for this one. And I think the other reason this film turned out weird as it was is because, once again, Steven Spielberg was just the executive producer. Joe, yeah, Joe Johnston from Jumanji fame helped direct this movie, and you know, maybe that's why it also turned out weird, you know, the way it did, and you know, it's a bizarre thing. Oh, and I have to say too, another reason that this movie is good though is because they also got Laura Dern as Ellie Sattler back in a little cameo with her and, you know, Grant getting together again, and Ellie's actually married to Mark now. I guess like Grant wanted to continue to work with the dinosaurs. Ellie didn't want to do that anymore, and you know, they just sort of broke apart for that. So that's what's cool, is also having Laura Dern back in a cameo for this film. But oh, you know, overall, I have to say, once again, for Jurassic Park 3, entertaining bits, but once again, a little bit, well, no, not a little bit, quite disappointing with the overall results, and you know, just where it came down to, and you know, the quickness of the story, the fast pace, the weird plot holes that this film has. You know, it's sort of just dampened the spirit. I mean, once again, still entertaining, but you know, with where the first two went, I would have rather had a better off film, personally. And I will just hope, you know, one final saying, with Jurassic World coming up soon, I really hope Jurassic World can fill the void as far as a better story is concerned, which looks like they're heading towards that route. Will it be? I don't know. And I have to say, from what I've seen with the Jurassic World trailers, you know, I'm not too happy with how the dinosaurs are looking. I thought it looked cool in the beginning, but considering how it's looking like almost all the dinosaurs are complete CGI creations, yeah, I'm not so sure I'm gonna like that, because once again we are getting lazy with our artistry and we're not blending animatronic and CGI like we used to. Maybe they still will, so I don't know, but it looks like almost every dinosaur we've seen is a complete fabrication of CGI. And once again, doing the film in 3D, it's like, really guys, Jurassic World in 3D? It's like, do we really need it in 3D? No, but you're gonna market it like that, and that's how Hollywood rolls. So we will see. I hope Jurassic World does at least turn out to be entertaining. I'm not expecting it to be as good as the first two, but I'm hoping it will be better than 3. Sorry, 3. And I'm hoping it will at least provide me something. Because if it overall just turns bad, I mean, I'll probably buy the movie on DVD for continuity, but will I enjoy it? No, it'll probably be like, you know, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's like, I have you because part of you was entertaining, the rest of you was just complete crap. But we will see. We will see, guys. So until then, this is 012 Boku signing off, and I will come at you again with another movie review hopefully soon. See ya.